Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about how organic food is stealth inflation. And I don't mean that there is stealth inflation within the organic food industry. Of course there is. I mean the very concept of organic food itself is stealth inflation. So first let's define two things so that we're clear what is organic food and what is stealth inflation. Well, when I say organic food, I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty. For example, a USDA certification says that you can use Monsanto's BT pesticide and or herbicide or whatever it is, and it's still organic. I'm not going to go into all the specifics there. I just mean food in general, food that's grown with less chemicals, less synthetic chemicals. It's maybe slightly more healthy, although research doesn't really show that because the soil already has so many chemicals in it. They pay slightly more attention to soil fertility, right? So organic food is presented as food that's grown with more natural fertilizers, more natural chemicals. It's a little bit better for the environment, right? And stealth inflation, which is similar to and also called shrinkflation, means that you get less product or a lower quality product. In this case, we're focusing on the lower quality part for the same or increased price. Okay. Wikipedia defines stealth inflation as a type of charges or fees created by businesses to gain extra profit and revenue from its customers. The stealth part of the term is that business will often use miscellaneous fees to charge customers without the customers even knowing the fees existed, as they were hidden in the fine print. Right. So Wikipedia is talking more of a traditional business mindset. That definition isn't so applicable to the food industry, but you can see what they're getting at. Mark O'Byrne from Goldcore says, shrinkflation sees consumers get less product but at the same or increased price. So here I'm talking about consumers getting a lower quality product. Okay. In the definition from Wikipedia, it's pretty easy to see what they're talking about. In grocery stores, they call it the grocery store shrink ray. And that's where something that comes in a 16-ounce package and costs $5. A few years later, it comes in a 13-ounce package and still costs $5. A couple years later, it costs $7 and comes in a 10-ounce package, right? That's a perfect example of stealth inflation. Now, the Wikipedia definition says the businesses use it to gain extra profit and revenue from its customers, so people may automatically assume that these businesses are evil and they're just doing them to make more money. Well, no, they're doing it to survive. You have to look at why they're doing it. We're talking about price inflation, by the way, and price inflation gradually results from money supply inflation. So the Federal Reserve Bank prints a lot more dollars. Some of those dollars find their way into the real economy. Most of them end up going into the financial markets and causing stock market bubbles and housing bubbles, but some has to find its way into the real economy and does cause some inflation. Companies, of course, when the dollar is worth less, companies are going to have to either raise their prices or sell less product or lower quality product for the same price, right? Remember at the beginning of the video I said that I wasn't talking about stealth inflation within the organic food industry. Of course you can find a million examples of that, right? Your organic dried figs slowly go down the number of ounces per package. The quality slowly goes down. 10 years ago they were really good, now they're like drier and crappier because they're buying them from lower quality suppliers. No, I'm talking about the entire concept of organic food is stealth inflation. You may have seen meme images going around the internet. People would say 100 years ago, all food was organic. Well, that was pretty much true. And of course, the narrative would tell us that then all the big evil companies started using chemicals. Well, no, that's not quite what happened. Over time, like in 1933 and 1971 or 1973, the dollar was basically devalued in relation to the gold standard and eventually taken off the gold standard completely. So of course prices have to rise because the dollar is worth less and less. Companies don't want to pass those prices on to consumers because it looks bad, because people are paying way more for products. So one thing they do to counteract that is to provide a lesser quality product. So of course, some agricultural companies and farmers will start using chemicals. Right? For example, the advent of lead arsenate on apple trees. That was what originally led to the first polio outbreak. And of course, polio is caused by heavy metals. There were many scientists who testified this in front of Congress in the 1930s who were completely ignored. And all of the diseases that are similar to polio, such as ALS and MS and MD, are also caused by heavy metal exposure. Nowadays, they use less heavy metals and more synthetic chemicals, which cause more damage to like the endocrine system and the hormones and stuff like that. So, of course, some companies, some farmers and agricultural companies started using those chemicals on their crops, which ended up they were able to produce food for cheaper, right? And of course, you can't necessarily fault them because consumers continued buying that product. People didn't care. They continued buying that product. Even after studies come out showing that those products cause cancer and health problems, people kept buying them. So it's not really a correct narrative to say food was organic and then all the evil companies and businesses started using chemicals to increase their profits. No, they started doing that to survive because the dollar got weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. It lost 98% of its value since 1913. So prices went up, right? Let me put my hand this way. Prices went up, right? And if you don't lower the quality of the product, prices are going to do this. That looks really bad. And of course, companies want to compete with each other. So the companies that the prices didn't go like this, they only went like this because they started offering a lower quality product in addition to raising prices. They ended up winning out. So that's why you have this massive industrial agriculture industry. Consumers didn't care, right? That's the thing to remember here. People continued buying those foods. It's not like they didn't know that. Yeah, they were misled somewhat, but the information's all out there. So there you have it. Organic food is stealth inflation. Over the last 100 years or so, prices went up. The dollar got much weaker. In order to survive, agricultural companies started using lots and lots of chemicals. Consumers didn't care. They started buying their products. So now people are paying the same or a much elevated price for a product that's much lower in quality. There you have it.